other student speaker.
Yeah, Cassie!
Most students, when thinking back over their years in middle school, organize their memories by the grades they have completed: 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. When I remember my time in middle school, I divide those memories into two groups: before and after, as in before I moved and after I came back. Let me explain. In February of my 7th grade year here in Kennebunk, when I was exactly halfway through my middle school career, my family moved to Simsbury, Connecticut. When I found out I would be moving in a month, every day at school became agonizingly short. Imagine knowing you only have 4 weeks left with your friends and classmates, then 3, then 2, then 1. My last day at MSK was one of the hardest days of my life. I went through the day as if in a trance. I tried my hardest not to cry all day, but I finally broke down after last block. All I remember is desperately looking for all my friends to say a final goodbye, but at the same time, trying so hard to stay strong and show them that I would be okay in Connecticut. I knew I would never forget any of them, but I also knew that the move would completely change our friendship. You can't imagine what switching middle schools is like unless you have actually done it. Before I moved, I took my everyday life for granted. Yeah, I went to my school and saw the same people I had known since kindergarten every day, but so what? When I moved, suddenly that wasn't just a minor detail anymore. On my first day of school at Henry James Memorial School, I wanted nothing more than to go home to middle school of the Kennebunks. It was the most terrifying day of my life. Although I try to block out most of my memories from Connecticut, one memory still rings clear. I was sitting in my new math class, trying to comprehend this strange material that had suddenly been thrown at me. I took out my old schedule from MSK, and I realized that my former math class was also having class at that exact moment. I was overwhelmed with sadness and an aching to be there with them. Even though we were hundreds of miles away, I wanted more than anything in the world to just run back to Kennebunk, to be in a place where I belonged. I lived in Simsbury, Connecticut for exactly 1 month, 4 endless weeks, divided only by February vacation. Every day of school there was so difficult for me, not because of the workload, but because everything I did reminded me of my old life in Kennebunk. After what seemed like years of endlessly begging to go home, my family finally decided to move back to Kennebunk. I was overjoyed. Going back to middle school of the Kennebunks and seeing all my friends and teachers was the only thing I wanted in the world. My first day back, I was so happy, I'm sure I was glowing. Since my first day back last March, I haven't taken one day of school for granted. I remember being at Henry James Memorial School like it was yesterday, and knowing I could still be there today makes me happy to return to MSK every morning. I have many times heard my friends say, I hate school, or I wish I'd stayed home today. After spending a month at an unfamiliar school, I can't imagine saying those words about MSK. It's true. Sometimes the work is hard, and we do have to be here early, so we resent that. But we don't hate seeing our friends every day, and none of us should take it for granted. For me, middle school has been about learning, and not about the material you can find in a textbook. When we first set foot in MSK, we were scared and unsure. In 6th grade, it was cool to be just like everyone else. We all tried to be like each other, and for most of us, it just made us more unhappy. Then in 7th grade, we began to branch out and try new things. Many of us found our place in a brand new group of friends. I think 8th grade has been my biggest year of growth. I can say I'm truly happy with how my year turned out because I decided to start doing things for me and stop trying to impress others. I now know that it's much more fun to be yourself than it is to be pretending who you're not. I guess that's what middle school is all about. It's a bridge from elementary school to high school, during which we grow and change for the better. Maybe what we learned about ourselves is more important than any LA poster or math test. My middle school experience was different than anyone else's, but it taught me so much. When I was in Connecticut, what I missed most was the camaraderie of my friends and peers. Of course, each of us have our individual friend groups, but as a whole grade, I think we're pretty tight-knit. Every day was exciting because you never knew what was going to happen next. We aren't afraid to talk or laugh with people who we don't necessarily know very well, and we look forward to each day because of this. Middle school has been fun, but I think we're ready to lead. In high school, things will become more serious, and maybe that's what we need. We can't stay kids forever, even though we may wish it was so. We came to middle school with the Kennebunks as children, only 10 or 11 years old, but I think it's safe to say that we will lead as young adults. We are as prepared as we can be for high school, and as they say, when one door closes, another opens. This graduation represents the end of one chapter of our lives and the exciting beginning of another.
Woo! Awesome!